Here we go. Alexei Shi. Maybe I'll go for a Grünfeld. Haven't played one of those in a while. Okay. See what variety we get. We get the main line. The old main line. I kind of like this for white too, but it's fun to play as black. Good for both, I think. Going to play c5 as well. Yeah, I'm not sure about my move order. Maybe I should have played c5 first. Yeah, that's a problem. I put the knight here. White will push the pawn, attacking my pinned knight. So I'll block with the bishop. And I can take with the queen. There's still a problem here. Yeah, if white pushes the d pawn or takes, then the e pawn is hanging. So let's take here. And we can bring the knight out. Once again, if this pawn gets pushed forward, I can take the e pawn. So I could bring the rook over and try and defend, attack this pawn directly. Probably bishop to b2 is the answer. It's not bad though, is it? Well, let's go ahead and get castled, I guess. Because maybe this rook wants to go to the c file rather than the d file. Yeah, putting a rook on d8 also has the effect of pinning this pawn. Oh, the bishop goes there. Okay, let's do this now then. The bishop comes here to defend. I can kick it back. The bishop goes to c5. I can play b6. So the bishop goes back there. And there is no pin anymore. There was only a pin as long as the bishop was there, because that would be threatening to take the queen. But the queen is adequately defended now. And this pawn push is a problem. Well, I don't know how big a problem it is, but the knight would have to move. And it can't take the e pawn. Oh, I can just take the pawn if it gets pushed. Let me think then. What should I do? Just kind of a minor strengthening move. So he wants to push the e pawn forward. That's an interesting approach. Or maybe he's just adding an extra defender. I mean, I'll take it. It'll be a trade, and then I'll have a lot of pieces lined up on the d pawn. Well, at least Alexei is starting to think. I could play knight to b5, or knight b4 to d5. Just park the knight on a good square. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for that. The the knight can never be evicted from that square. Well, not for a while. I mean, the bishop can't attack it, a pawn can't attack it. His knight could maneuver around, but it would take it 3 moves to get to a point where it's doing anything. Okay, so now maybe I should try and find a way to activate this rook here. Rook to c5, then put the queen behind it. I could penetrate to the 7th rank. Decides to give his king a little luft rather. Put my bishop here, threaten the rook here. I guess his queen will just move off the back rank. Well, his bishop covers that square too, so not much doing there. So I am threatening the a-pawn. Yeah, that's fine. So I was thinking I could continue to threaten the a-pawn like this. And then maybe follow up with the rook to the 2nd rank. Knight's doing a good job sitting there and defending the queen side, looking out there. So yeah, so he's looking at the knight and the rook. Guess we will solidly defend the knight there. My rook, for the moment, my rook is defended. So maybe queen at a7, then rook to a2. It's possible. There's also just rook here, right? I mean, he's got a check. I can block with the bishop and then step up with my king. So I don't see a problem. Let's go ahead and move the bishop now, so I don't suffer a sudden check. Is there a tactic somewhere? Well, now I'm threatening to take something with a discovered attack on his queen. So the queen should probably move. Anyway, yeah, the Grünfeld I think is an interesting opening. Leads to all kinds of play. Let's see, queen to b5 here would threaten the bishop. And it would still threaten the bishop, right? Queen b5, bishop here, I can just take it. You can defend the bishop. I wonder. Probably, yeah, after he defends it, I'm not sure what my follow-up is. Let's step the king up. Get away from sudden checks on the back rank. And now that's interesting. So now this is defended, so I can just move the rook. But where do I move it? I can't move it here because he takes with check. So I guess I move it somewhere it's defended. Yeah, a little tricky actually. But I guess that works. Okay, so my king is back on the back rank after all. But seems okay. Okay, I could check first. He can bring his knight in here. I was planning to push it away when he brings his knight in there, but he can do it after I move my queen, and I won't have time to kick it away. But I will be threatening something here, I guess. So when he takes here with check, I will run here. Queen here, check. I can take the knight. Well, we'll see how it works out. I'm out of time anyway. So, gotta run. Oh, the queen goes there. Okay. That check. Aha. So if I go to either side, oh, I ran out of time. I think I was mated there anyway. Here, let's take a brief look. If I go here, for example, well, so if I go here, then he's going to take here with check. And I could run here. He's got this check. That's the problem. And why is it not mate? Oh, it's not mate because I could sack my queen. But otherwise I have no squares to go to. He's got everything covered. Let's see. And if I run this way, my other legal move here, then again he can check like this and drive me back. This is covered on this side. And that's covered. So that would be mate. Anyway, interesting game. Here, let's get another one. Maybe play a rapid game here. Okay, I want to start off with d4 this time. A240670. Okay, we get a Queen's Gambit. A classical Queen's Gambit. Okay, I'll slow down after this move. This is pretty standard so far. That's standard here as well. I think I'll continue. But at some point I have to slow down and start thinking about my moves. Oh, it looks like he doesn't want the pin. You know, a lot of times I don't even do that. I just play e3 immediately, and I think that's what I will do here. Go for this typical setup. The bishop is behind the pawn chain, but it's defending squares on the queen side. In fact, in the olden days, they used to think that this early bishop deployment was a bit weakening because it weakened the queen side. They weren't sure it was a good idea. But Pillsbury proved them wrong around the turn of the century, turn of the previous century, into the 19th, beginning of the 20th. Okay, so he's setting up for the Tartakover variation with the bishop there. And with this move in here. This is the Makaganov-Bondarevsky-Tartakover, the long name variation. TMB, Tartakover Makaganov-Bondarevsky variation. Anyway, let's develop the bishop and get castled. I think you're supposed to take there, by the way. I think you take immediately. And black normally takes back with the pawn, which is a bit strange. Because you think, oh, he's going to develop his bishop here, so he's going to want to take back with a piece. But that's not usually how it's played. I think because if you put a piece there, then white gets to push the e-pawn for free. So yeah, takes with a pawn. So maybe it's correct. I waited until the bishop was here and then I exchanged. So now that bishop is blocked in behind the pawn. But well, black is going to try and push the c-pawn forward and open things up a bit to liberate that bishop. Black needs to get castled here. What do I need? I could go with a move like f5 and knight here. I just need to move my knight out of the way first. Or I could... I kind of like that idea. It's a bit slow. And he may play c5 immediately. How about if I let him play c5 and I ignore it? I go here, he plays c5, I play f4. He takes, I'll take back. He pushes, I'll drop back with the bishop. Let's give it a shot. Just a different way of playing. So the plan is pawn here, not there. Pawn here, knight here, pawn here. Ah, and he's not doing anything immediately about that. He just castles, which he needed to do eventually. But he could have taken a moment to try and pressure this pawn, which is not defended right now. Yeah, so that's my plan, is to just ignore that and get my knight on this good square. Ah, so he's pointed out a problem here. This is attacked. Is it really, though? Say I put the knight here, and he puts his knight here. I can go here with check. Yeah, it's attacked because I'm giving up the bishop to win the knight, and he's won the pawn. So I need to defend that. Could just drop back here. Keep this bishop on a good diagonal and get my knight here. That's what I wanted. Good timing for me that he put his queen here right when I was ready to drop my knight there. He was obviously trying to go after this pawn. Well, it's a good battery too, but I think it's not relevant in this situation. Now he's got to try and you know, he can't really chase my knight away because, well, not easily. I'll put my queen here, and then if this knight ever moves so he can push the pawn forward to chase my knight, I'll have this big threat here. Ah, so he goes there. Makes sense. I'm going to keep it on this diagonal, and I'm going to kick his knight back. Keep the bishop on this good diagonal and play a3 to kick his knight back. Yeah, so he went back ahead of time. I will play this move anyway because I want to have my queen sit on d3 pretty much permanently. And I'm going to get my bishops off the back rank and bring a rook to the center, I think, before I do anything else. Maneuvering this dark bishop around here to attack his knight maybe is an idea. It's a bit slow, 1, 2, 3 moves, but it carries a big threat. So he's going to try and do something else with his knight. Yeah, let's get my bishops off the back rank. He's got an idea here. He's going to put his knight on either G3, G6 rather, or F5 to shut down this diagonal. That's an idea. And he's looking at this square over here. No, he was looking at that. My mistake. My mistake. Okay, where's a good square for my queen? Obviously, black is going to win the exchange there. Well, I could play knight here. It's maybe not unthinkable. And then support it with a pawn. Also, I could take his bishop, hitting the queen. So he just trades. Oh, I missed. I missed that this bishop was hanging. Okay, well, I'm down a piece here, but his queen is behind enemy lines. Maybe I can get some mileage out of that. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't think I'm doing anything here. Nothing good. So anyway, and when he put his bishop there, I should have just given up the exchange rather than putting the knight there, because that was forced. The queen's overloaded. So back here. So that's what this move was. I thought the queen was looking at this square, but actually the queen was making this threat. And I played here, and he played there immediately. Yeah. So I just he made a threat, and I ignored it, and that's my punishment. Okay, so we decided to trade. Go ahead and take back now. Let's kick the queen. So it's one bishop against 2 knights. Usually not a good deal, but it's what I've got. Aha. So this knight and rook are defending his pawn here. Did I get anything out of this? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 1. Yeah, no, I didn't even get a pawn, so I'm just down a whole piece. I can cover this square so that the knight can't hop in here and then kick it back. The knight is nearly trapped. So after h3 actually has no square. So, so he's brought a second knight in here. Okay, neither knight moves with check. So let's bring the queen back. He might give up 2 knights for a rook, and then I would just be down the exchange. Probably still good for black, but better than I was. I'm threatening to take that knight and trap this one, so I'm thinking he really has not much choice besides putting the knight here. And I can take with the rook, defending my queen, and he takes back, and I take with the queen. So I'll have queen, rook, and bishop against queen, rook, and rook. But maybe he'll find something else. He's done pretty well this game. Yeah, he didn't. So do I have to take? I mean, my queen's under fire here, so probably it's better for me to take. So if he trades queens, then I just am up a piece. I mean, I get my piece back, not up a piece. I get my piece back, yeah, so he takes. So I'm just down the exchange now. Could line up on the F pawn here and then put my bishop on this diagonal to chase his rook away. Curious. So I guess he's not worried about my plans. I'll also put the bishop here and threaten to take this pawn. Because unfortunately this is adequately defended with the king and the queen. He doesn't really need another piece to defend that. Well, the only way to defend the pawn is queen here. And if his pieces get into passive enough positions, I might actually have a chance still. Yeah, he did. He played that. I could put a rook here, but he can oppose it. Don't really want to do that. You could try and open up things towards his king. I mean, it would be taking a risk, but well, I'm losing anyway, so why not? The other thing he could have done is just he could have taken the bishop and gotten the pawn, gone into an endgame. A pawn up. Now I do have a passer here, or a potential passed pawn. Oh, he would be getting rid of my passed pawn, and he would have the extra pawn. That would be the idea. He would have 3 against 2 over on this side of the board. Just give up the exchange and go for the better endgame. I wonder if I should lift my rook before... so he decided... Well, it's a counterattack, that's true. I am going to lift my rook. Defend here. He's got the check. I'll run here and then put my rook on the g-file. Ready to push the g-pawn. This is hanging, but he had threats against the g-pawn and over here. So he wants to trade. This maybe is not so bad. I take, he takes, and then I put my rook here. Yeah, I'll go for that. That's an improvement. Step by step, I'm improving my position a little bit. So I have a pawn for the exchange now. Now I wonder if I should have just brought my king up to take the pawn rather than using my rook. Well, we'll see what he comes up with for counterplay. But at the moment, it's not so easy for him to mobilize. Is that true? He can play rook here. Rook c8 and come in on the c file. So probably I'll bring my king up. Put the rook behind these pawns on the queen side. King side, I mean. After I get this pawn. That's the first order of business. Then I'll really have a passed pawn. Oh, he's found a way to defend. Pretty good. Okay, I'm going to still activate my king and attack this pawn. And then push these. That bishop is looking like a pretty nice piece. If this rook comes over to defend this pawn, I can push this pawn forward. Not right away. Not right away. Here, let's blockade that pawn. I don't want it coming forward and giving me a check at the wrong time. Then push and push. King steps over there. Yeah, makes sense. So if I push the d-pawn, and he puts his rook here, attacking my bishop, and then I push this pawn, attacking his rook. He takes my bishop, I take his rook, threatening the queen, so the rook drops back, and I take a pawn. So I think, did he have time to take my bishop in that line? I forget. Oh, but I got a rook for the bishop. That's what it was. So he's going for counterplay. That makes sense. Let's attack. He's got the check here. My pawns are closer than his. I can even step forward when he checks me. Defending my pawns, defending the bishop, and now I'm just threatening to push these guys through. These passed pawns are dangerous. He's got passed pawns too, though, but mine are closer. Yeah, let's eliminate his passed pawns. I think that's the way to do it. Then I think I'm just winning if he trades because of the pawns. The 2 pawns are stronger than the rook. So he goes there. So out here I would just push my pawn through. We'll see. He can take here, hitting my bishop. I push. He takes the bishop with check. I step forward. Yeah, let's just go like this. I didn't like losing the bishop with check. I don't mind losing the bishop, but losing it with check is not the right idea. I can just push that pawn through now. I didn't want to step forward and have my king be pinned. Have my pawn be pinned against the king. So I'm just walking the king back, but he can't stop me from pushing this forward. So that was quite a turnaround in this game. Quite a turnaround indeed. So I'll be a piece up from being a piece down, and he has 1 pawn to show for it. So let's start with this. Got to round up this pawn over here. I could have gone with the check first. That would have been smarter, but he lets me check him anyway, because I had the check at a point when I'm driving him back. That goes with check. Otherwise, he's threatening like the check here. Let's grab a pawn here. Now, let's see. I guess I just walk over, right? Get the kings into action here. Okay. This way I can round up the pawn. So I can go here to round up this pawn too. At some point I can just give up that bishop. Oh. He tricked me. Black resigned. Yeah, I could block with the bishop here. He almost got me in another trick, though. That was a nice try. Anyway, that was a good session, a nice turnaround in that last game. So I will see you guys next time. Bye now.